His Excellency, the Chief Guest, the Right Honorable Speaker Kingi, you will forgive me because I couldn't stop Senator Mandago from speaking. You know the rules of the House. There is something called ranking members, and sometimes it's very difficult to deal with these ranking members. But I think his message is also home. I want, first of all, to take this particular time to thank you, because I know very well that I came with you and I know how tight you are in terms of schedule. And Waziri, I know that the Right Honorable Speaker came to represent the President, but he's also traveling out of the country. So I'll be sensitive to time. There are a lot of messages that were supposed to be said here, but of course the most important one is to thank you, Waziri, together with the team from the Safaricom M-Pesa Foundation, for the exemplary work that you've done. Because what I've seen here, if it is anything to go by, this will be my dream. In the next 50 years, our country should look like this. The all primary schools that we have in the country should actually be tech savvy, and the kind of learning environment that we've seen here should go through the entire country. And I want to encourage you, Waziri, that invest in communication, because there are a lot of good deeds in the current government that are going on, but because of the culture of negativity that has been brooded by the fact that people have lost trust in government, the good things that are happening every single time are not seen. I wish the country could see what has happened in this village today, the village of Orengo, and the work you've done and the work that other people continue to do. The second thing that I wanted to say is that I am very honored to be in the land where Nabi Yohana came from, and particularly to be here at such a time that actually we are burying Pope Francis, because that is where the Jews start. That's where the story starts, that the Nabi who had this dream, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, he actually came from the Catholic Church. And he felt, just like other people, that there is no confrontation between modernity and tradition that was then perpetuated within Christianity. But he felt, even more importantly, that culture makes a people. And today, the coincidence that you have here is that the Pope was buried yesterday, and this was the Pope who also believed that essentially there is a chance and a place for traditions and for inclusivity, and most importantly, compassion in the church, compassion in governance, compassion in leadership. So what was started here, this land was also part of the Central Kavirondo, because from the spirit of the church here in the early 1900s came people like Jonathan Okwiri, who, when they went to Maseno, when we had colonization that was going on, it became very difficult for the African people to think about living an independent life. And in Maseno, they followed through by starting the Young Kavirondo Association. The spirit was the spirit of no mere church. In 1922, when they convened in Ludna and started that movement that then agitated for independence. And today, we are a free people. Mr. Speaker, I want to say categorically that our country is at a crossroad, because sometimes young people don't follow history of our country. And I'm telling you, Senator Mandago, as I finish, that there is a Frenchman, or rather a revolutionist who used to be of French descent, called Fanon. He said that every generation has a duty to identify what their mission is. And after identifying your mission, then it's upon you to either fail that mission or to take it forward. I think the country is struggling in what my brother Ochanda Mheshimiwa from Bondo said on this thing called mixed signal, because perhaps we haven't understood as a country, the leaders who are sitting now, what is our mission? You know, when you start with Jonathan Okwiri, who came from the spirit of this church, And then you come to people like Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, you come to people like Jomo Kenyatta, and the people who came before them. Their mission was to save us from the colonial rule. And they did that mission with the mass movement that gave us independence. When you come to our father in this land, the leader of ODM party, together with his generation, which also includes people like a wonderful leader called James Orengo, their mission became saving this country and bringing human rights, where our leaders became misleaders post-independence and became selfish and became people who are rewarding their cronies. And they have fought that fight to where we are today, where we've got new constitution, we have got human rights, people can talk the way they want, we have got independent institutions. But then, what is the burden of our mission today as young people and as leaders who are seated here? In my humble belief, I believe there are two. Number one, which is where you meet the Gen Zs, is the issue of good governance. The idea that you can serve the nation and not benefit from the nation. But I think that's a smaller one. And I think this is where people don't understand the broad-based government. The biggest mission that we must work on as a people now is economic justice. Economic justice means simply that we can all live in this country as a people who benefit from this country and who borrow it from our future and inherit it from the past and make everybody else grow. Why am I saying this? Mr. Speaker, as I finish, it is completely unfair for a farmer who comes from this region, who plants sugarcane, and when they plant sugarcane, when they go to sell that sugarcane, they only get a ton of sugarcane at 5,000. Yet their counterparts who sell tea get 35,000, yet sugar is used everywhere. There's a problem with the economic structure in what Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and the right President Ruto are talking about inclusivity. It's not a small agenda, but people are struggling with it. Broad-based is about making sure that a Kikuyu, a Luo, a Kalenjin, and all other communities in Kenya can get their economic share in this country without anybody remaining behind. Let us groom that. I don't want to speak much because you have got very less time, but Mr. Speaker, allow me to recognize that in our midst, I know that the MP for Bono did not recognize them, but in our midst here, we have got the former governor of Kisumu. It's very important that he's also recognized is here, Honorable Ranguma, and then we also have the former governor of Kisii, Governor Ongwae, is here with us. With those not very few remarks, because I was passionate about what Senator Mandago talked about, may you allow me to take this chance to invite the son of this land and the visionary who has brought us here together, Waziri Owalo, to perhaps welcome the Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Now to the Speaker, who is our chief guest today, on behalf of His Excellency the President, the Church, I want to perform large